And what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Juice is Loose. I'm your host, Terminator Juice, and we got a good show for you. If Mike or New World Order for Life's watching this, I tried to send you the invite, so hopefully you can join us here. I plan for you to be here. And anyway, moving on, joined by my co-host, Derek Steelfox. Say hi to everybody.
Yo.
All right, so we got pretty good topics today, and I'm looking forward to this. So anyone that's new to this, which I'm sure if you're watching this live, you probably know what this is all about, but this is a weekly show where we talk about my Mario Kart 8 tournament that I hold on Wednesday nights, and then we go over various video game-related topics. We also have some new segments we want to start that will be reoccurring, maybe not weekly, but maybe every other week. And so I'm excited, and let's start off with the Mario Kart tournament. Derek, would you like to read off the rankings or the results from last week? Do you have that in front of you?
I'm going to let you have the honor.
Okay. All right. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to start at the bottom and go up. And it was kind of a light week. I think the Bananas Only might have scared some people away. I know a couple of our regulars that have been there every time missed out. But there was a couple that raced one race and backed out. I'm not going to count them. We're going to start at number 8 with Mario Walker. He put in a decent effort, but didn't finish the tournament. I know he's probably watching this. Just hang in to the end, and I know it's tough, but you never know what can happen. You might get a few first place finishes towards the end and jump up a couple places, but he was in 8th. We had Wheels Pig in 7th, Derek Steelfox in the 6th, Andrew in 5th. I got 4th with 73 points, and then it was Mike in 3rd with 101 points, and Titanium was in 2nd with 102. Man, that was a close finish for you. I read that you got a couple bad races at the end and kind of kept you snatched second place out of the jaws of victory or whatever.
Because at the very end, it was me and the guy that got number 1 with no other CPU. So I only got 1 point for second place.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you did start one race late, I believe.
Yeah.
And then Gray, he dominated, 135 points. He got first. I think that's the 3rd time he's won my tournament, and I'm glad you showed up, Mike, because out of the 3 of us, I think you definitely had the most fun. You had the best effort, and so why don't you go ahead and talk about what was different for you this tournament? The Bananas Only seemed to frustrate a lot of other people. I got a lot of comments about how it just wasn't that fun. So why don't you give your experience? You got 3rd place, probably should have been 2nd, but you're right up there, and you just seemed like you were just missing those bananas. So why don't you go over that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I got about 4th place once, and I got 5th place once, and it was because I hit bananas. But the rest of the time, I did a pretty good job dodging them. Yeah, I mean, I think the bananas thing is, mostly skill. And luckily for me, I think that the sports bike, it was a good degree of skill for me that I could maneuver around the bananas and get boosts and, keep up. I mean, when you're behind with bananas, it's hard to get back because all you could do is throw bananas. And majority of the time, you're throwing the bananas and hitting them yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to throw a banana at an enemy racer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the tournament went really good for me because I was able to stay on par with everybody else in terms of skill, except for the guy number 1. He was on a whole other level.
Mm-hmm.
At the very end, he just kept speeding and boosting, and I couldn't even catch up to him. But yeah, man, I had a lot of fun with it, and for the longest time I've been doing bad in the tournament because I haven't had a good combination with a character and a vehicle, and now I think I found a really good one. So I'm gonna stick with it for a while.
You were using Rosalina, weren't you, in the sport bike?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to use that. Before the game came out, I even said that was going to be my class, but so many people use it that I feel like I can't because I see it everywhere. So
Well, it's an excellent view, so
it
you cannot
is,
blame
yeah.
anybody for that car.
Her and her Daisy or Peach, are definitely my favorites to look at while I'm racing. But I tried something different. I tried Iggy. I think he's just big and slow. And if I got hit, like you said, if you're in the back, I can speak. Me and Steel Fox can speak to this. In the back, not only can't you catch up with using any kind of weapon, but you get everybody else's banana peels. So if you're
Yeah.
up at first or second, you only got to worry about one person dropping in front of you. But you're fifth or sixth, you got 5 or 6 people throwing bananas in front of you, and they're getting triple bananas, and it's just almost impossible to avoid them. And
I gotta say, it's really fun when you make a turn and you see like 9 bananas on the road, and you try to swerve around them. I had a lot of fun doing that. I suck when I hit them, but when you make that achievement and you get around it, oh, it feels great.
yeah, I don't know if I had any moments where I didn't hit one when there's that many. Derek, I forget what you were using for class and character.
I don't even remember.
Were you gold,
Honestly.
pink?
I think I was pink peach.
Yeah, the gold peach or whatever, pink gold. Yeah, we were struggling. I mean, it was like us and pretty much to Wheels Pig were in one bracket, and then Titanium and Mike were in another, and then Gray was just in a whole nother level. And it's fun talking about it now, but that night I even sent Derek a text, which I still have it, which I could show. I said, "Yeah, this isn't fun at all, but I'm happy Mike's doing good." I literally was just like happy for you because it was great.
He did.
You
Thanks.
really get second almost every race in the beginning. I got first in the first race, and then I never again was even in first. I don't think for the rest of the tournament. So
I got first once.
did you?
Yeah, one time. I think Gray got hit and screwed up or something, and I managed to get in first in that one race.
Yeah, there was plenty of races where I went off the track and slowed myself down, and it was my fault. But I also noticed there was some lag. I don't know if you noticed anything, but there was multiple times with racers hitting bananas in front of me, spinning out but not losing any ground, like staying the same distance ahead of me. That happened a handful of times, so I'm not blaming my performance, but there definitely was some lag going on. I've noticed in a few other tournaments that I've done. But for me, if I hit a banana peel, it was over. I was come to a dead stop with Iggy, and the acceleration was so terrible that I couldn't compete. So I'm glad for you, and Gray and Titanium seemed to do all right, but the rest of us struggled a bit. So it was overall, though. I mean, it's unique.
You were right behind me. You did really good. You had a great comeback.
Yeah, I finished fourth, but I was literally 30 points away from you, so
Yeah.
it wasn't that close. I mean, if I could have got first a couple times, but overall, it was a little disappointing. We didn't have as many people as before, so I'm hoping this week with all items, it's going to be all items, all vehicles again,
Yeah.
and I may leave it at that for a couple in a row to see if we can consistently get more people. But I just, everyone's got their own schedules too. I noticed Harden 25 wasn't there. Rajo wasn't there. Those are 2 regulars that are always there. Missed it. So, hopefully this week, we can have a little bit better attendance. And I did the 1 hour time limit and the no CPU. I did that because, I think Mike missed the first race. But
I don't know how I missed the first race. I literally logged into the thing at 8 o'clock. And by the time I picked my racer, it wasn't even 8:01, and I was spectating your race.
yeah, you gotta. That's what I do. I get on earlier and I get my character set, and then if you don't turn off the system, like I'm talking 10 minutes ahead. So then when you go to the character select, it's already the one that I wanted. So I just quickly tap through it. But yeah, I figured if I'm gonna have no CPU, I decided to do the 1 hour time limit just it kind of balances it out, and just hopefully people can get there right at 9. That's the ideal situation. If that becomes a problem, I'm open to change, but I haven't really had any comments or any kind of feedback from any of the racers, so I've been kind of making the decisions without anyone saying anything different. So we'll keep trying it. This week, like I said, all items, all carts, all vehicles, and yeah. So moving on.
Doing no CPU.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing that until it
It
seems to
just
be an
sucks at
obvious
the end
problem.
if you have no CPU and it's just two people racing at the last race, or
Well,
three.
if there's only two in the last race, there's only partial in the first race too. So it's the same. The points structure the same.
Right.
Obviously, if there's more people, there's a little bit more. But it's either that I could put the CPU back on and just have the 1 hour time limit. That's an option. So maybe we'll talk about that off air after this.
Yeah.
But I want to keep moving this along. Try to keep it around an hour. And that's kind of my goal for each week. So I want to go over some news, some things that came up this week, and one was a complete surprise game. Well, it wasn't a complete surprise. Some people knew this game was being worked on, but a trailer out of the blue in a Japanese, I don't know if it was a website or a magazine, or they had some kind of presentation where Shigeru Miyamoto was there and everything. It was for the Fatal Frame. For the Wii U, I forget the title that they're calling it. The surprising thing, because I've never played a Fatal Frame game, and I know Derek said he wasn't too excited about the game, but the interesting part for me was that the game comes out in 2 months, and they just showed it for the very first time, and I wanted to talk about that specifically. And then they're also planning a manga and a movie, and it was just kind of another exclusive game for the Wii U. I mean, it's not a AAA title, but I watched the trailer a couple different times. I hope they bring it over to the North America because it looks like a really cool, creepy kind of game.
Cool.
Uses the gamepad for the camera and stuff. So,
Called the Black-Haired Shrine Maiden. So it's called.
hmm?
Fatal Frame, the Black-Haired Shrine Maiden. Is the name.
Oh, yep. I should have wrote that down, but that's a loose translation or a direct translation. The actual title, if it makes it over here, might not be that. But so what are your thoughts on Nintendo just showing this game, and it's made by Tecmo Koei or Koei Tecmo, whatever. It's 2 months out, and they just now show it for the first time. So why don't Mike, why don't you just kind of talk about that, the potential for a manga to go along with this, and just how Nintendo likes to show games like with only months away from the release, like most other places or most other third parties, and Sony and Microsoft, they like to build up hype over 2 years, and Nintendo sometimes they just like to surprise us. So why don't you give your thoughts on that real quick?
Well, if they are you saying they're going to release a manga alongside the game?
That's what they're saying, and as well as a movie in Japan for sure.
Well, that sounds like a great marketing strategy to me. I mean, if they do like a internet manga, like make it available in all languages, to wherever they release it, then that can build up the hype significantly, to actually see the gameplay and to see scenes described, in the manga. They could just give you like little teases of it, and then you can experience the real thing like in the game itself. That would be great to build up to the hype of the game and to get everybody excited for it. I think the game itself, from the trailer, looks really nice. Graphics look incredible. The atmosphere looks scary as hell. From what I understand, the Fatal Frame series is like taking pictures of ghosts in order to stop them from killing you, right?
Yeah, kind of like this camera that kind of can put their soul, either bring them back to the real world or to life, or it just puts their soul to rest. I'm not 100%, but it's something like that.
Yeah, so if that's the case, I think the gameplay looks solid, and I think the atmosphere looks creepy, and I think it could be a surprise hit for the Wii U. I mean, people want something different. This is different.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
an established franchise.
It's not a huge seller like the someone said, like they average like 100,000. But what I wanted to point out was Nintendo's got in Japan, they got Hyrule Warriors in August. Now they got Fatal Frame in September. They got Bayonetta 2 in October, and they got Smash possibly November for Wii U. That's 4 pretty big exclusives, and the Wii U's already selling better than the other systems, which we'll talk about in the main topic. But it's just, I think it's a really good thing that this game's coming out at that time, and for Japan, it's a big deal, and hopefully they localize it. But Derek, I know you weren't super excited when you saw this game. Is there anything you want to say about it, or that any of the things that we've already mentioned?
Well, I definitely want to point out their innovative use of the gamepad that no other system can mimic.
Mm-hmm.
It's impressive. It was fun in Zombie U, and it's been fun any other time they've decided to use it in that method. I know a lot of people would love to see other camera games. Pokemon Snap. I know people were big fans of that game, but you got to use the gamepad. It really brings something different.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to work kind of like Zombie U. When you lift the gamepad up, maybe you have to hit a button to activate the camera, but then it's probably going to leave your character exposed. You obviously won't be able to run around. I'm guessing you'll just be able to turn, which could add to the tension. So I'm hoping that they localize it. It's definitely a game I would consider. I need to see a little bit more. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan, but it's just exciting that they've held on to this game. It looks pretty polished and pretty far along. Obviously, it comes out in 2 months, and they waited that long to show it. It's just interesting that they would wait to show it so long when they needed games and they needed momentum back, months ago or a year ago. So it's just, you never can understand the mind of Nintendo and how they do their daily business. But I think it's a cool thing, and I'm sure the Japanese audience is going to love that game, and hopefully we'll see it early next year. So moving on to another game which I've already mentioned, there was a new trailer for Hyrule Warriors. It was Zelda using the Wind Waker as a weapon, and I know Mike's huge into Zelda, so we're going to go to Derek first. I know you watched the trailer. I mean, it doesn't show that much. It's not super incredible, but it's just another look, another way to make the game feel different. With each weapon, it looks completely different. Whether it plays different, I don't know, but just, I guess, Derek, you kind of had this kind of high on your anticipated games list just because of everything they've been showing, and there's been rumors that it might have some kind of online. I think it's just going to be leaderboards, but just Hyrule Warriors, the new trailer, what you're seeing so far, if you want to just quickly talk about that.
Yeah, every trailer they've put out has been enjoyable to watch, and I love that there's been so many of them. They're small, they're little teasers, but they just keep releasing a steady flow of information that just gets me more hyped up each time. I think that's a great way to do it. You just see cooler and cooler moves and more of each character, and I think all three of us love the whole Zelda Hyrule world, so it's awesome to see more of that. Yeah,
definitely, and the music that goes along with it. It's nostalgia, but it's just great. It's a great soundtrack, and a lot of people are scoffing at this. Oh, you guys never liked the war. What was the name of them? They're Warriors. Can't think of Dynasty. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, you guys didn't like Dynasty Warriors games, and now all of a sudden you're hyped up for Hyrule Warriors. Well, it looks like more than just a Zelda skin in Dynasty Warriors. It's just the Skyloft level. Then there's the Twilight Realm level. I mean, there's so much to just, as a Zelda fan, to just be excited for. And maybe the combat isn't going to be so fun I want to play that game 5 hours straight. Maybe I only want to play it 1 hour at a time or something. But if they didn't have Zelda in it, yeah, I wouldn't be really excited for this game. If it was just a mid-level like Dynasty Warriors game with a little bit more effort, I probably wouldn't be talking about it right now. But the fact that it has Zelda in it, it's just the fact of the matter is us Zelda fans are going to get excited for it. So, Mike, did you happen to see the new trailer with Zelda and the Wind Waker?
Yes.
All right, so why don't you just talk about what you're seeing from this game as a Zelda fan, what you're hoping to see, and are you going to buy the game when it comes out?
Well, I mean, the first thing you notice is that's Zelda's second weapon. The first time we've seen Zelda, she had a sword, like a fencer type of sword. And now she's got the Wind Waker. So that tells you right there that, individual heroes or enemies, whatever, they're not just going to be limited to one weapon, So that's already a plus. As far as the Wind Waker goes, it looks like basic attacks have a kind of like breezy effect. like when she just goes like this, and you see gusts of little swipes of wind, and then you can hear Ocarina of Time music. You can hear the Song of Storms play, and like all the enemies go flying in the air, and you see her create a tornado. You saw music notes. There was fairies in the beginning of that trailer. You saw fairies surround her. So there's a lot of different effects with the Wind Waker, and it looks like it's a primary music-based weapon, and it has the ability to like scatter enemies around and push them away, pretty much. And it looks really awesome. A nice alternative, to getting directly involved, in melee combat. So,
Yeah, it's like it may not change the way you press the buttons, but visually speaking and just your attention, you're seeing something different, and maybe it does change up the combat enough to feel really really new compared to her other weapon. But on a visual level, it definitely looks a lot different than her. I like her that fencing sword, and yeah, I just like the variety, and I'm hoping that it's not gonna be just press the button mindlessly and just stuff happens. I'm hoping there's going to be some form of skill involved in it, but I've never played one of those games, so I can't say. But overall, it's a good-looking game. I'm excited to finally play it. I think we got to wait about 2 more months. Japan's getting it in August, so they only have 3 weeks, I think, 3.5 weeks to wait. So I'm sure there'll be some footage and maybe some reviews that people can translate coming out of Japan here by the end of August. So looking forward to that game. One other thing I wanted to announce.
Wait, can we still talk about that game? So
yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
Because I'm hyped for that game. I've never played a Dynasty Warriors before. So, for the viewers, this is what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be, there's a story. You get, missions to clear out enemy bases or to occupy certain areas. And you pretty much the enemy is going to be harder. And what they show you in the trailers is not difficulty that you can be playing it on. You can be playing on where they're all attacking you and the hits hurt. I heard in Dynasty Warriors games it's very easy to die early on. So I mean, you get the the options of training to strengthen your weapons, to strengthen your levels. You can customize your characters, I believe, in the Dynasty Warriors game. So I'm sure it's going to be like that in the Zelda game. And as far as a Zelda fan, that I am, I'm excited because all of the games are in this game. And there is Ocarina of Time, Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess, enemies and allies from all different games across the Zelda universe. That, from what I understand, they're going to be pulled into the main dimension of whatever this game takes place in by the villain Chia, whatever her name is, and like it's just going to be totally awesome to have all these heroes and villains in one game. A story where Link starts off as a royal guard and then gets improved, becomes a hero, and just the fun of being a commander of the Hyrule forces, going against evil or vice versa probably, and probably being able to do it online with a friend. This game has a lot of potential, a lot of things to be excited about. I mean, if you don't like, if you get bored of the combat or whatever, then take a break, and play it a different day. But the story, the skins, the characters. Oh, and they're also even changing up the gameplay from Dynasty Warriors because, like, in this game, you'll be getting chests in the middle of the battlefield, like with bombs or hookshot, and you got to use them in a special fight against the boss, and you can use them against the enemies. And like Link already has 3 weapons. He's got his sword, which is confirmed to be able to become the Master Sword later on. He's got, the fire rod, and he's got the ball and chain from Twilight Princess. So, I mean, there's lots of variety. There's lots of level design, from all the different games. There's going to be a story that connects everything. I don't see what's to be disappointed about in this game. This is like the Dynasty Warriors game, but it's not just a Zelda skin. It's like an overhaul with the Zelda universe. So, I mean, get hyped, because I'm totally hyped.
I can tell you're excited, so we might, as that game gets closer to release and maybe they finally reveal most of the information, maybe we'll just have a separate discussion about that later on in the next month or two. So moving on, I wanted to make an announcement. I'm going to hold this up. I finally purchased Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Wii. I've been practicing a little bit here and there. Derek's been helping me out. I call it Smash School. He's showed me some stuff. But what's going to happen? I don't want to talk about Smash right now. On July 26th at 9:30 p.m. That's Saturday, 9:30 Eastern time. I want to have a Smash discussion, and I'm pretty much a noob to the series. You know, I played Melee, I own it, and now I have Brawl, but I don't have any of the the know-how. I didn't know all the terms for like neutral air and all those terms. I'm still learning that stuff. So what I want to do is I want to get a panel of veterans, people that played from the N64 all the way up to the Wii version, and I'm going to put the invites out, try to get 4, 5, 6 people, and hopefully find somebody that's actually played the new version. And I got a whole list of topics. I want to talk about the character, all the new characters, get everyone's take on that. And so that's planning tentatively to be July 26th, this Saturday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If anyone's watching this is interested, you have a lot of knowledge about Smash and some opinions. I already have Leo the Wise. He seems he's been on our past videos, and he seems very excited for that. Twilight Bites, he said he's game, so try to find some more people, and just wanted to make that announcement. That will be July 26th. Obviously, we got, it's Monday, so it'll be Saturday. I will remind people later on, but I just want to make that announcement. And then, okay, Francis says he wants to be on your panel. You're in, dude. That'd be cool. You have hands-on with the game. Francis from Player Essence, PE Nintendo, which I am now a Player Essence Network partner. Appreciate that, Francis. Yeah, it'd be awesome if you could join. If you have anyone else that you might think has really good knowledge of Smash, and let me know. So yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be this Saturday. So yeah, with that out of the way, I have a new segment. I was going to call it the Fail of the Week, but we're now going to call it the Juice Bag Move of the Week, and that award is going to go to 2 different people. Number 1 is Best Buy for their absolute disastrous 3DS buy one get one free sale. I went to my Best Buy on Sunday. It started Sunday the 20th at 11 a.m. The store opens at 10, and there was 2 guys in there talking to a clerk. There was no games. They were kind of bitching at them. I looked on the shelf. They had 2 shelf space, that could hold maybe 4 or 5 games on each one, so maybe 10 games total. That's all they had for this sale. Not even enough to have every one of the games on the sale flyer. And the 3DS XLs, the Luigi ones, I think they had 1. And then they had 1 Pro Controller white for $30. So I was like, it's just my town, it's small Best Buy, that's what I expect. Well, I hear and read that this happened in California, in 2 major cities, Best Buys, they didn't even have half the games available that was on their flyer for the buy one, get one free. So their juice bag number 1 for that move, and then honorable mention to Sony and Naughty Dog for The Last of Us Remastered on PS4. Apparently takes 50 gigs, and it's unconfirmed if that's even if you have the disc, it still needs to load, but definitely the download is 50 gigs for a PS3 game remastered. In comparison, the Wind Waker HD was 2 gigs, and the original game was just under a gig. So that's just a juice bag move right there. 50 gigs on a hard drive that I think you get just over 400 gigs after all the updates and stuff on the PS4. That's just ridiculous in this day and age. That just tells you they didn't polish the game, they didn't compress it, and it's just a shame, and more people should be upset about it. But anybody want to comment on either of those 2 things? Did either one of you try to purchase a 3DS game this weekend? And what are your thoughts on the 50 gig mandatory space needed for The Last of Us Remastered?
50 gigs is ridiculous.
Yeah,
That,
that's. I mean, if even if it was built from the ground up for PS4, I'd think that's ridiculous. But to be a PS3 game remastered, that's
I mean,
just.
if that was me, if I would have downloaded that game, the minute it would have said 50 gigs, well, first of all, you have to pay for it, right? Or can you
Hmm.
get it free on the
It's
PlayStation Plus?
$50. It's a $50 game.
Because I would say, like, if you spend $50 and then you see 50 gigs, that most likely taking up, I mean, assuming you don't have anything on your hard drive, that's like a quarter of your hard drive. But if you do have games, like I have like maybe like 100 gigs left on my PS3, that would, put me to the point where I would have almost no space. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get much with 50 gigs of space. Like if you had that much left over, you would be able to get maybe 2 or 3, PlayStation 3 games, and then maybe like a PlayStation 1 game, too, and that would be it. You'd be full up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot of space, 50 gigs to put on your hard drive. So I don't know what they were thinking with that.
Yeah,
But
it just tells me they didn't have time to go through and try to make it compressed, and the download time alone would be ridiculous on most people's internet connections. So,
yeah.
Derek, any comments or thoughts on either of those two things?
I think you two have pretty much summed it up.
All right. So, moving on, Derek Steelfox apparently has a rumor he wants to go over and get our thoughts on. So this might be a regular segment, not every week. Obviously, there isn't going to be a rumor every week. So why don't you go ahead? I've been waiting all day to hear this rumor. I can comment on it, and then and we'll get Mike's thoughts on it too. And then we'll since it's just a rumor at this point, but we'll give our thoughts on the probability, what we think the chances of it becoming true, and all that. So why don't you go ahead and take over? And I've been waiting to hear this. So.
All right. I've been trying to keep my ear to the virtual ground because, you definitely hear rumors all over the place. Some are just so out there you can't even believe them. Some, they say a rumor, but it's a tweet from Nintendo of America. It's pretty much confirmed. So I've been trying to find something that was pretty interesting, and I want to find more of these, and I want to bring them back every week because I love running these things by you and hearing your thoughts on them. And, well, that I actually do have a friend who's kind of involved in the industry. I might be able to get some things out of this guy, for future things. But here's what I got this week. There's a new SKU scheduled to come out in October for the 3DS, which leads me to assume that this is going to be a Smash Brothers 3DS XL. Now, what was interesting that I heard about this one that was slightly different than other bundles for the 3DS XL is that it is going to be the physical copy of the game that comes with, kind of like what they did with Mario Kart, rather than having it already installed. I don't know anything about a design. I don't know anything about an exact release date. I would assume probably right around the time that the game is going to come out. What are your thoughts on that, T-Juice? What do you got?
Well, that sounds very likely for one. I mean, I would be surprised if they didn't do that. But what I'm hoping, because I'm thinking of upgrading, I have the standard 3DS from not launch, but a few months after. I have that aqua blue or aqua green looking one. I'm pretty much on board already, but if it's black with the flamed Smash Brothers logo and the price, I mean, Nintendo, it's going to be right around the 200 range still probably. But the physical copy, yeah, that sounds very probable, and I hope it comes true because I'll be on board with that for sure. So let's hope that happens, and a lot of people would be happy to have the digital version versus the physical. I mean, the physical versus the digital. Even though for me it doesn't, I don't care either way. But I think a lot of people would be happy. So Mike, what do you think? I mean, I don't know if you're a 3DS owner. I don't know how big you are into Smash, but how does that sound? As far as being likely and oh yeah, you're right. You have the Zelda one.
Yes, Sona. How many times have I shown you this?
Twice now.
No, definitely the physical copy over the digital because it's much easier to find shelf space than it is to buy, memory card, in order to hold more space in your 3DS. Like I had to spend about $40 to get my SD card on the internet, which has like 35 gigs on it, whatever, that I got. And it's been great because way better than the standard 4 gigs that the 3DS comes with, for games. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Smash Brothers 3DS bundle. I think it would be cool. You do realize though when you get a new 3DS, you have to do the whole system transfer thing. You know how to do that, right?
Yeah, I've looked it up.
Yeah. If you need to know, I can tell you because I had to do it for mine. So.
Yeah, I'll figure that out. I want to get moving on to the main topic here in a minute. But is that all?
It sounds awesome. Maybe they could put some cool, not just Mario character. They could put like Pac-Man on it and Mega Man and stuff, like just to show like how new this game is compared to the other Smash games, like on the 3DS cover.
That'd be cool. Some retro Pac-Man and Mega Man and Mario, like that would be sweet. I would definitely have to get that.
With Sonic, Pac-Man, Mario, and Mega Man on there. I mean, come on, it's a dream team right there, right?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Hopefully they do something cool like that. Hope this turns out to be true. So now we're gonna move on.
Smash Ball symbol, the Super Smash logo, the symbol. Put that on like either in the middle between two characters or just on the back, like something. Like you want that Smash symbol. That symbol's awesome.
Yeah, especially if it's in flames with like a black and red, maybe. Cool. So anyway, let's move on to the main topic. I put Wii U on the rise as the title of this video. I got some numbers to back that up and get your guys' thoughts. I wanted to put out a disclaimer first for any haters or any naysayers. Sales aren't important to me personally. Like if the Wii U doesn't sell much more, I'll still enjoy it. They still release games on it. I'll be happy as long as they're good games. I don't put my enjoyment of a game console. I don't base it on sales. How many weekly sales a system sells. But I do pay attention because I do see a lot of comments on my videos, other people's videos, where people still say that the Wii U is dead and the Wii U is doomed. Especially like on IGN and the biggest thing is if you watch a Wii U like preview on a place that doesn't normally do video games or Nintendo, that you got these Sony and Microsoft fans, they still just think the Wii U's dead. So that's kind of where I'm coming from when I looked at these sales numbers and what I want to talk about. So it doesn't personally affect me, it doesn't benefit me, but I do think it's a good thing for Nintendo to start making money and being profitable again. And moving forward, I think it's going to help the industry and us gamers. So I wanted to say that first. And but yeah, Wii U on the rise. So the NPD numbers came out for the month of June, and NPD, for anyone that doesn't know, is North American sales numbers for a console and games. It doesn't track every single store. I don't believe it tracks Amazon. There's some big retailers that are missing, but for the most part, people go by this list, and it's equal for all systems. All the sources are for PlayStation, Sony, or Xbox and Nintendo are all the same. So the numbers are going to be close, even if it doesn't cover every retailer out there. So, so the Wii U hit in just right around 140,000 units in America for the month of June, following the release of Mario Kart 8. That game came out in May, so there was probably a pretty big push at the end of May that's not on this list. And then you had the Xbox One with its price drop at just under 200,000, and the PS4 was at like 320 or something ridiculous for the month in North America. But compared to last year, the month of June for the Wii U was at right around 60,000. I think it might have been 59,000 for the whole month in North America. So going from 60,000 to 140,000 really shows that the system's not dying, it's actually improving, and what software can do to help a game. And one last thing before I get your thoughts on the Wii U hardware sales, VG Charts just updated their list. I know VG Charts is completely accurate, but it's pretty close. The week ending July 12th, the Wii U was the number 3 selling system and globally, ahead of the Xbox One by about 5,000. The Wii U was at 66,531. The Xbox One was at 61,388. And the important thing to realize is couple weeks ago, the Wii U was at 59 or 60. Last week, or the week after that, it was at 62, and now it's at 66. So that's going in the right direction. It's increasing, and we're talking over a month away out from Mario Kart 8. It's 5-6 weeks after the release of that game, and the system's still selling more. So that's the interesting part for me. Japan, it's the highest selling home console. Each week, it sells about 9,000 a week in Japan versus the PlayStation 4 is at about 7. And so yeah, just it's a move in the right direction. It's not a complete turnaround. It's not, oh, the Wii U saved, but it's looking very promising with, especially with these games coming out in the next couple months all the way up to Smash. So Derek, you want to give any thoughts on that? I know we talk about this all the time, about the momentum of the Wii U and all that, so why don't you go ahead and give your thoughts?
Well, like you, or maybe unlike you, I don't follow the sales as closely. I just enjoy the darn system, for all the good reasons. You usually educate me on what's going on with the sales. It's a great sign. Mario Kart 8 came out. Then, we had an awesome E3. We got Hyrule Warrior, release teaser trailers all the time. They're working for it finally. It's about time.
Mm-hmm.
Like an upward climb, a positive direction.
Yeah, I think, that all the things to take out of this is that the Wii U's not dead. It's not dying. It's doing better. And things that are dying are going downhill. Like the sales are going down, not up. The Dreamcast had a price slash to like $100, and it had some good sales in the end of its life. But the Wii U's finally starting to just get some nice average sales for weekly globally, and it's just a good sign for the future. And we don't want to own a system that's going to be obsolete or discontinued in a year. So that's kind of why I still follow it a little bit here and there. So Mike, I don't know, I didn't tell you anything beforehand. Hearing those numbers, how do you feel as a Wii U owner? I mean, does sales mean anything to you personally, or do you have any thoughts on that at all?
Well, sales don't really matter to me because the Wii U is not going to flop because Nintendo has enough money to keep it afloat for as long as they want. You know what I'm saying? Like, people think like, oh, the sales are going down, and there aren't any games on. Nintendo should just throw away the system and start over. It doesn't make any sense. That would make them lose their their fan base and lose the trust of their the fans. So Nintendo has enough money where if they were to completely flop on the Wii U and made another system and completely flopped, they wouldn't be anywhere near going out of business. People don't understand this. People think that Nintendo is in jeopardy because the Wii U was hemorrhaging money a little bit. That's not the case at all. And Nintendo was making up most of what the Wii U was losing for anyway with the 3DS. You know what I'm saying? So there's really no need to worry about the sales charts at all. But I mean, it's nice to see that people are starting to have a brain and realizing that hey, look, there's other things besides first-person shooters out there, and it's on this Nintendo console. And they're pretty damn fun, and they look great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. I mean, and
yeah,
also,
like I said, the only reason I look at it is because people constantly are telling me or saying in comments that the system's dead or dying or it's a flop, and it's not like it's sitting there at great sales numbers right now. I mean, it's still just under 7 million sold in a year and a half. I mean, that's not nothing to brag about, but what I wanted to say to the people that might be watching this that aren't Nintendo fans is don't count them out. We got all these great games coming. Japan, they're not big on home consoles. They 3DS and Vita are just pretty much dominating right now, especially the 3DS. But if you look at it, the Wii U's averaging about, like I said, 9,000-10,000 a week in Japan. But like I said earlier, they got it slated right now from October to November. They got a major game coming out every month that Japanese fans really like. Like, I'm not sure how big they are into Smash, but I'm sure it sells decent over there. But Hyrule Warriors it's got 3 different collector's editions, special editions. Those are selling really well. Those are charting really well, the pre-orders. Fatal Frame, it's not a huge series, but it's a big enough game to be a nice filler, and then you got Bayonetta 2 with the first Bayonetta coming out, and then you got Smash. And that in Japan by itself, you know, that's only going to help sell systems in Japan, which is going to help the overall sales, which is going to help Nintendo. They're making money on the systems now, and they're looking to be profitable. You got the Amiibo line coming out, and things just look positive. So I just look at it from a video game fan. I don't want Nintendo to fail. I didn't want the Wii U to be dead because, like I said, I got the system and I want to keep playing games on it. I think it's a great system. So from that perspective, that's kind of why I follow numbers from here. You know, I don't check them all the time, but I do like to see where it stands. And I'm not here to bash the Xbox One or anything. I hope that system can pick up some momentum. I don't want to see them just completely fail and then it's just going to be Sony and Nintendo. I don't think two consoles is the right amount, you know, to me personally. And so I want to see the Wii U do good. I want to see Nintendo be successful so that they can continue to make these great games. So in America, you know, we still have most of those games coming out. They're coming out about a month later. It's September for Hyrule Warriors, October for Bayonetta, and November we get Smash, probably. It's not confirmed, but there's a question about that we'll get in the Q&A. So
Get that by Christmas, definitely.
it definitely. There's been a couple reports now saying November 21st, which there's a question that we can touch upon. So with the Wii U sales looking good, I also wanted to say Mario Kart 8 has been back to the top of the charts. I don't know if it actually was ever number one, but we're looking at 5 weeks out, and now it's the number one selling software across all systems. The week ending July 5th, you know, I don't know about the next couple weeks, but it sold over 100,000 units again, putting its total at like 2.02 million according to VG charts, and this is as of July 5th. It could be closer to, you know, 2.1 now. And you know, the Watch Dogs kind of is fading fast, and Mario Kart's still staying on top. It just shows the long legs of Nintendo games on the charts. Like, they usually don't have as big a week one sales as Mario Kart 8, but the fact that it's still above 100,000 with an install base of under 7 million, that's just very impressive. And with all the positive reviews and, you know, the tournaments that you know, my tournament and lots of other tournaments, people just want to get in on the action. It's getting a lot of people to buy a Wii U, it seems, and I just think that's really cool. And it's a great game, and it's already the number 3rd best-selling game on the Wii U after only a month and a half. So I'm guessing it'll chart really well in the end. But this is going to lead into another segment that it's not always going to be tied to the main topic, but Derek, he wanted to talk about this. I'll let you go over it and say where the inspiration came from. So go ahead and name what we're going to be talking about, and say where you got the idea from, basically.
Well, where the inspiration came from, and I'm not going to let you fool these nice people, for reasons I've never been able to figure out. You do follow sales pretty closely, and it's not a bad thing. It's actually impressive. I've heard you make some pretty impressive and accurate predictions about things by following and charting these sales over all the different systems. You do it for everything. You don't just follow Nintendo stuff. You know, it seems to be something that interests you. So I kind of wanted to see if I could challenge you a little bit every once in a while, maybe hold you accountable for a few of these predictions, and it'd be kind of fun to see how many of these turn out to be pretty close to on the mark. We're talking a little bit about Mario Kart 8. You know, when that game came out, you know, Watch Dogs also came out. A lot of buzz about how awesome Watch Dogs was doing. You know, Mario Kart 8, no one really could argue that it did awesome, but Watch Dogs was just awesomer. So I want to ask you, since it's already passed all the other systems, how long or when do you think Mario Kart 8 sales will surpass the PlayStation 4 global sales for Watch Dogs?
All right. Before I want to say that, I did predict the first week sales of Mario Kart 8 being, I think I said somewhere between 8 and 900,000. So I wasn't 100% accurate on that, but I was guessing a lot higher than most people. So anyway, Watch Dogs PS4 versions sitting at about 2.25 million. Um, I we kind of went over this already, before in anticipation of this video. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known that right off the top of my head. But Mario Kart at about 2.02 million. It's outselling it by about 60,000 a week now. So I'm gonna say, I think August. I think it was August 5th. I gotta look on my calendar. It's gonna be a Tuesday because that's when the numbers go by. They go by Tuesdays. I should have wrote this down, but I wanted to be a little less planned. So let's look at this. Yeah, I say by August 5th, Mario Kart 8 will have outsold the PlayStation 4 version of Watch Dogs. That's not too difficult of a guess. And then I also want to take it a step further and predict when Mario Kart 8 will outsell all versions of Watch Dogs combined, which is over 4 million right now. I'm going to say by March, no, not March, what was it? May. By May 30th, 2015, I'm going to say Mario Kart 8 is going to have surpassed all versions of Watch Dogs combined, even the Wii U version, which that could really screw up my prediction if the Wii U version does really well. I'm counting on that not doing that well, like 100,000 or less. So yeah, I'll just take it one step further, and I'll go with that prediction as well. So we'll have to see. I have to write that down and then see if that becomes a reality. So, all right. So that's it for the predictions, and pretty much our main topic. I've pretty much talked a lot for the last few minutes. So anyone have anything to say about Mario Kart 8 sales and my prediction or anything before we move on to the Q&A app? Mike, anything?
That's not surprising that Mario Kart 8 is doing so well. I mean, it's a franchise that has a long-lasting appeal. It does have nostalgia in there for people that remember playing it, so that's the reason why they'd want to buy it. And it's but it's a solid game that there's always a reason to go back to it, because even when you get bored of it, you can just go back to it the next day and have fun racing with a whole bunch of different people. It's a solid gameplay experience. The racetracks are fun and inventive, and just an overall great game. I think it has a much lasting appeal than Watch Dogs, because Watch Dogs, I mean, it's like a gimmick, really. It's just hack a light to stop a car, or hack your friend and find out information. It's cool, but essentially it's the same type of game as all the other games. It's a shooter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you play it online, it's a shooter. Mario Kart is a different experience. It's something people aren't used to. It's colorful, it's fun, and long lasting. So yeah, I definitely agree with your prediction. Mario Kart is gonna definitely soar above Watch Dogs in the future. And I just hope that people keep realizing that, they need all different types of games on a console, not just Nintendo. I wish that PlayStation and Xbox would have these types of games on them. Games that don't just involve mature themes and guns and gore and all that stuff like that. Make creative IPs. Make, things like Ratchet and Clank, like, Sony has, and things like that. Create new franchises. And people, it's ironic because people always complain to Nintendo about Nintendo always uses the same IPs over and over and over again. But what they fail to realize is that the IPs Nintendo uses are all done in games with different, gameplay mechanics, different stories. Nothing is ever the same. Very few Mario games are actually the same, save for like Mario Brothers 1 and 3, and maybe like Super Mario World is just like an advanced version of Mario 3. But like all the other Marios, have been evolutions, different gameplay mechanics. And so when you complain that Nintendo doesn't use, and doesn't create new games, they do. They just use familiar faces because the fans love those faces. That's
Exactly. It's like the Galaxy game. Like, if that didn't have Mario in it, that would have been. I mean, it's still one of the most revolutionary, one of the best games of last generation. Two different places gave it best game of the generation. But if they had thrown some generic character in it, it wouldn't have made the game any better. So I understand why they put Mario in a game like that because they have a great gameplay mechanic. They have great idea for the level designs and stuff. And what good is it going to make up some generic character? Like, there's no benefit to it for a game like that. So I think you hit the nail right on the head there. Watch Dogs, very similar to GTA and Assassin's Creed and Far Cry. All these games that come out all the time is very similar. So they don't have the long-lasting appeal. They're kind of flash in the pan type games, and that's why I think Mario Kart 8 will eventually overtake it. So.
And even
right,
then, we got Pokemon, we got Pikmin,
mm-hmm.
Splatoon. We're getting new IPs.
And it's interesting that you said you wish Microsoft and Sony would have more games that were mature. A lot of people say if Nintendo had all the third-party support, they had, Destiny and the Batman and all these games, they would dominate. But also, if Sony and Microsoft could somehow find a way to make games comparable to Mario and Mario Kart, they would dominate even more. So it's
because if you look at it right now, the PC is the computer. If you have a high-tech computer, you can have every game from PlayStation and Xbox and everything on your computer, but you can't have Nintendo content. You need to buy a Wii U to get that Nintendo content. And Nintendo, from Sony's president himself, said that Nintendo is like the Disney of the video game. Miyamoto said that he compares himself to like the Disney, like their games are like Disney, how Disney's like its own separate franchise or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Miyamoto said a comment like, that's how he considers Nintendo. And Sony's president said something towards the fact that Nintendo, like they're like, cornerstone of the industry. They make all the alternative titles to what we have on our system. Something like that. That's not the direct quote, but he said something towards that effect. And that's the truth. If those consoles, 360, PS4, if they could find a way to get content like Nintendo games on their consoles, they could give Nintendo a real run for their money and make Nintendo get serious and make Nintendo start getting more like them, and then it would be like a real war. But as it is right now, Nintendo is comfortable because they know that that their content is exclusive to their console, and they have a safe fan base, that they can always rely on.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. But I kind of caught something off in the Q&A app that's pretty big. We have to talk about this right now. So that's it for that main topic. Let's go to the questions and answers section here. And this is cool. If this is real, it's going to be hard to wipe the smile off my face for all the games I've downloaded. So Terrell, TIGF, I watch your videos, dude. Cool stuff. Apparently, Nintendo Everything they're released the details on the new Wii U system update, which was happening today, version 5.1. It now lets you transfer content between Wii U systems. Your thoughts on this? So that's pretty big, because if you can, like, let's say your Wii U broke or something, you had to switch over. Now, according to this, I haven't read the full article, according to Terrell, saying you can transfer your content between different Wii U systems, which would be no longer games and your profile being locked to your system. So, Derek Steelfox, if this turns out to be true, which I think it is if Nintendo Everything's reporting on it, how big a news is that for you personally and for the Wii U in general?
Well, for me personally, it doesn't change a whole lot of things unless, knock on wood here, something should happen to my system. But I know you had issues with yours in the past, and it caused problems. And I know a lot of gamers out there really wanted to see a feature like this. They were distraught over the fact that it wasn't included. I don't know how directly it impacted them, but if they wanted it, look at that. They're going to get it. Huh.
Yeah. I'm going to actually, it's not letting me click on the link. So, Mike, why don't you talk about what that would mean if that's true? I know a lot of people are worried that they download stuff on their Wii U, it's locked to that system, and they're going to get screwed. So why don't you talk about that? I'm going to go ahead and verify this while you're talking.
I mean, that's great because, I mean, if God forbid something happens to the Wii U and, you can't, you have to get it fixed or whatever, you can transfer, or actually, Yeah, I mean, if something happens to your Wii U, and it gets fried, you can't really transfer anything over. So I guess it doesn't really work to that effect. But if you decide you want to get a different one, if your old one is acting up but it's still kind of working, then that's a great option to be able to to transfer that. I mean, what they should have is they should have like a cloud like service, like kind of like what PlayStation Network is, so that
Hmm.
you could upload your data, your saved game data, and your downloaded games onto this service, and then should something happen to your system, when you get a new system, you just log into that uh, that network, and you download all your stuff back into your
Yeah,
new.
that'd be ideal. But apparently, I just read they didn't go into the to details. They just said you can move all data and all software from one Wii U to the next. So that would be the elimination of your stuff being locked to one system, which would really benefit. Let's say they came out with a new SKU. Maybe this is anticipation for that. Let's say they come out with a Smash bundle and it has a built-in Ethernet port or something,
You
something
can
that
do that too. You could transfer your data to your friend's Wii U.
yeah.
Now,
And
like the games that you bought and downloaded could be on his Wii U. You
I'm
know?
guessing though it's going to be just like the Wii to Wii U transfer, where it's just going to leave the old system completely dry. There's going to be nothing left on it, so I don't think you'd want to do all your data to your friends. You're not going to be able to copy it. It sounds like you're going to be able to move it, only move it. So that's really cool, and that makes me feel good. I've downloaded almost all my games lately, the last 5 or 6, and the ability to not have to worry about if I need to get a different Wii U, or like I said, a new SKU comes out with more internal memory or something, and now have that option. So that's really cool. Thanks, Terrell, for sharing that. Um, so now I'm gonna go to Mario Walker. It's kind of related to the sales things we were just talking about. I'm just gonna give my thoughts on this real quick, and then I'll give you guys each a question to answer. He wants to know, will the Wii U outsell the PS4 this holiday season? With Smash is getting a lot of hype. I'd be surprised if the Wii U doesn't just dominate. If Smash comes out in November, that whole month and the whole month of December, globally, I just would be surprised. The biggest game for the other systems is Far Cry 4 and Call of Duty and Battlefield. So I think it will definitely outsell everything. Um, Let me read these here. All right, Derek. This one's kind of out of the blue, and you might not want to answer, but I'm going to throw it at you anyway. Mario Walker asks, "What console had the best launch in history?" Um, do you have any feelings on that? I don't know technically what one had the best launch. I can just say what I felt was the best launch. So, do you have a way to answer that, or your feelings on what console you thought had the best launch?
I don't follow sales at all. Like,
What if it's just not launch, but just like hype and success as far as people were happy?
PlayStation 4 is doing fantastic. I knew it would do well. I didn't expect it to fly as much as it did right away after launch. That was pretty impressive. It just blew everything away, and it's still, even with no games out, it is still just flying off shelves.
Yeah,
If you
that's
look at
true.
that's pretty shocking to me. Best in history, I don't know, but
I think, yeah, probably
relevant, pretty impressive.
it seems like every generation, like it's always gets more like press and more hype for each system. So it's like it seems like for me personally, I thought the Wii had a really good launch with Twilight Princess and some Wii Sports and all that. So I would probably say the Wii had the best launch, came out of nowhere, and then it just continued to sell forever. So, Mike, do you want to chime in on that one or not?
Uh, I imagine that Super Nintendo probably had an amazing launch because people knew the Nintendo brand. They had a ton of games on the Nintendo console. They had the Game Boy, and then Super Nintendo is just like it's a super better Nintendo than what they had in all new games. I'm sure that probably had an amazing launch, sold tons of stuff. But I would agree that the Wii probably in terms of just how the game sold. like regardless of what the games were, the shovelware, I'm sure that parents bought for their children, whatever, because the whole, appeal of the Wii was, the modern, market, the non-gamers, and like, just the amount of copies that must, flew off the shelves just because it was part of this new revolutionary system. I'm sure it was probably the most successful launch. In fact, I know for a fact that the Wii is still like the most, it's sold the most units out of any console.
That's behind the PlayStation 2 for home consoles.
PlayStation 2 beat the Wii?
PlayStation 2 is at over 150 million, and the Wii's at just over 100 million. So.
Really? I thought for sure the Wii was the
No, PlayStation 2, that thing was ridiculous. It just continued to sell. It sold for like 10 years consistently.
PlayStation 2 was like the Super Nintendo of the PlayStation. So that would be.
Yeah. All right, so we got a couple more questions. We're over an hour here, so Mario Walker, he asked a lot of questions before he knew what we were talking about. We got a couple that are kind of related to what we were talking about here. Terrell, TIGF, do you think that it's possible for a Wii U Smash Brothers bundle to come out with a new SKU for the Wii U, like a 500 gigabyte hard drive or 1 terabyte? I think with this new update, they're planning something. And like I said earlier, I would like to see Ethernet built-in, an Ethernet port built into the Wii U with more memory would be like my dream. But because they even promoted the LAN adapter when they had the Smash Direct, so that would be awesome because I think just having a built-in Ethernet port, everyone could have a wired connection. Well, all the new people that bought the new SKU. As far as 500 gigs or a 1 terabyte model, I think because of the external hard drive support, I don't think we'd see anything that big. And if you go by the Wii, they never added any memory to the Wii with their new SKUs. They never made it more than 512 megabytes of flash memory. I'd be shocked if Nintendo threw in more memory. But if they did, I think it would be more like a 64 gigs or 128 gigs. And I definitely think there's going to be a Smash Brothers bundle. Not everybody agrees with me on that, but I would like to see a new SKU with either include the Ethernet adapter or have it built in to the hardware. I think that would be a bigger benefit than more memory because of the hard drive support. So. What do you guys think for a Smash Brothers Wii U bundle and potentially a new SKU with some improvements or something different? Derek?
I would have said no way to the new model, but this update does make you wonder if they are planning some sort of update to the console itself. What that would be, I don't know. I did figure there'd be some sort of a bundle. I mean, they've done it with so many other games to help Wii U sales. To not do it for Smash Brothers would really be a missed opportunity to really suck in some more players. But a whole new SKU,
Well, that system transfer, man, they're setting the groundwork for something because the 3DS has a transfer system with the SD cards, but the Wii U having a system transfer option definitely tells me the chances have just increased.
Exactly. It does open up that possibility. They would have alienated players before, I think, but maybe now, yeah, they pay.
If
pick it up.
I would consider getting a Smash Brothers bundle if there's some improvements to the actual hardware, like I said, an Ethernet port built in, or if it had 500 gigs. I have my terabyte external. I would definitely move them all to internal memory. Mike, what do you think? What are the chances of a Wii U Smash Brothers bundle and the chances of any kind of hardware changes for the Wii U?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't thinking along those lines, but you might be right. Maybe the entire system transfer thing is so that they feel like people will buy new Wii U's, if they feel they can put all their old stuff on the new Wii U, a better Wii U. Hey, I'm with you. If they were to release a Wii U with much more memory and specs or added ports or anything like that, then I would buy it too and sell my old Wii U or whatever, and get rid of it because that's a great deal. Because right now I mean, I don't want to. I'm sure there probably are ways to, increase the hard drive on your Wii U, but I don't want to go out and buy a, terabyte hard drive, or whatever, and figure out how to, put it in my Wii U. It's much easier just to buy one with, improved memory and things like that. So yeah, can they do it? Sure, they could. Will they do it? I mean, I'm not sure, but it makes a lot of sense to bring out the system transfer option if they want to sell these Wii U's to not just the new audience, but to their established audience as well, the ones that have Wii U already.
Because I know a couple people I could easily sell my old system for 150, $200, and you're looking at 60 to 80 bucks for a hard drive, which I already bought. But someone like you could take almost break even and just buy the new system and sell your old one if you could transfer everything. So we just lost Derek. I don't know if we'll just chug along. We got a couple more questions I wanted to answer. I kind of want to wait for Derek to come back. How are you a RPG fan, Mike? I forget. I think.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to this. This is from Grayson Young, and that's actually Gray, who won the tournament and kicked our ass. So, appreciate the question. Do you think Xenoblade Chronicles X will boost console sales as much as Mario Kart 8? I'm going to take this first. I'm going to say not a chance. There's no way Xenoblade Chronicles X will boost the sales as much as Mario Kart 8. In Japan, it might have a similar increase, but in America and Europe, it's going to have the game might sell well, but I think the actual hardware boost is going to be limited for that game in particular. It's there's been some games in the past. Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii was a limited print and it sold fairly well, but I do not think that will boost sales as far as comparing to Mario Kart 8 what that did. How do you feel? Xenoblade Chronicles X. There's got to be a shorter name. Let's just say X. Do you think it will boost sales? And do you think it will boost sales? And do you think it will boost sales near Mario Kart 8 levels?
It might boost sales a bit, just a small portion of it. I mean, the thing with Xenoblade Chronicles is it was a game that the first one on the Wii was a game that we almost didn't even get, and we only got because there was a campaign to bring it to the States. You know what I'm saying? It's very niche fan base, a small audience or whatever. The people that buy Xenoblade Chronicles X is going to be, an insignificant amount of the people that are going to buy Mario Kart, because Mario Kart appeals to everyone. Xenoblade Chronicles X will only appeal to RPG enthusiasts or, loyal followers of the Xenoblade, saga. If it was, let's say, like the Persona games or Shin Megami Tensei, more widely known like RPG franchises, then I would say it would be a much more significant boost. But Xenoblade isn't well known enough in America for it to really make a dent in comparison to Mario Kart sales.
Yeah, like I said, I think in Japan it might be close to boosting sales for hardware.
Would be in Japan.
But all right, let's go on to the next question now that Derek's back. Where'd it go? Dang it, I lost it. It's shuffling. It's shuffling stuff around as people ask questions. Well, we'll just go to Francis. He asked this question when he chimed in like 45 minutes ago, but I thought it'd be interesting. Another rumor that we didn't talk about is a lot of people are reporting that Smash Brothers is going to release on November 21st, which is 1 week before Black Friday, and also that it's going to include an amiibo character with every copy of the game. And I just want to say I think to me that's 100% going to happen. To get that game out before Black Friday, that's just going to be huge. And then they have a Black Friday sale with bundle GameCube controller, adapter, and then maybe you buy it on Black Friday and you get Mario Kart 8 or something, for new people. I just think it's going to happen. I think they're going to do everything in their power to get that game out. I think the game's finished, but they're bug testing it pretty much at this stage, especially the 3DS version. So I think that's guaranteed. And I think if it turns out to be true, that's going to be huge to be the week before Black Friday. the only competition it's going to have is going to be Far Cry 4 and probably the Master Chief Collection for the Xbox One. So I think that's going to happen. What do you guys? How do you feel about Smash coming out in November 21st, which is my birthday? I'll throw that out there. That will be my 36th birthday, so that would be a nice treat for me. So, what do you guys think of the chances of that happening?
Definitely, like, makes 100% sense because, I mean, you want to have a reason to collect them all, right? Nintendo wants you to say, like, oh, I want those other amiibo figures,
Mm-hmm.
they're called. So to give you one for free is just to basically say, there you go, there's one, but guess what? You know, there's 40 other ones, or, you know, how many other characters there will be in Smash, you know? So that's
Yeah, I think that sounds like a Nintendo move to give you one to whet your appetite. And here you go, because I already have 5 that I have to have. So it depends on which one they give me. So Derek, what do you think the chances of Smash coming out on November 21st, and how do you feel that will it benefit it be coming out before Black Friday, or do you think for a game like Smash it really even matters?
It is a big holiday shopping weekend. I think the timeline is probably pretty good. It's a little over a month after the 3DS version comes out. You know, it's probably going to be ready by then. The question is, you know, it is a global release, and is that really a big holiday anywhere else in the world? So would they really use that as their main point in trying to sell it? I would wonder. That said, I don't think the date's impossible. As for the Amiibo character, now Nintendo has been extremely generous to all of us as of late. You know, Mario Kart 8 bundle and the way they've been just throwing us stuff. So I can definitely see them, as Mike said. By the way, Mike, you've been making a lot of great points tonight, and you're racing really well in Mario Kart, so I'm kind of freaking out because you're like hitting the mark all over the place. You know, Nintendo seems like they would definitely throw it in there. I'm just curious how they'd package it. You know, it'd almost be like a box, like how Call of Duty always sells their hardened editions, where you get a bracelet or something. So that'd be a different route for them to go, but I do think they could go that way.
Or it could be just the game case and then like the Amiibo shrunk wrap to it, or, you know, cellophaned. But I don't think they would do it that way, but I think there's a good chance.
Just tape it to the back.
Yeah, just staple it.
Probably like the Skyward Sword case, a big box.
Yeah, like the ones that came with Wii remotes and stuff. You're just gonna get a bigger box. So I gotta answer this question from Blue Dog 5454, known as Andrew, and in the tournament's his me character. I put a challenge to him on Sherbert Land. I beat his time significantly, and I put a challenge to him, and then he crushed my time, and I was like, I can't even stay with my old time. So he asked me if I'm ever going to beat his time on Sherbert Land. I don't think so, man. I tried probably 10, 12 times, and I wasn't even close. So I might have to just give that one to you and pick a different track. So I hate to give up on that. Maybe someday I'll feel compelled to dedicate some time.
And Blue Dog, you should take that as a huge victory, because T-Juice is extremely competitive. I've never heard him give up on anything. So that's a big win for you.
Yeah. I don't give up on stuff like that too easily. So, all right, Terrell, just kind of, I forgot to mention the second part of that update, is you can now use on the eShop on the Wii U, you can now use the Wii Remote, the Pro Controller, and even the Classic Controller to navigate the eShop. Before, all you could use was the gamepad, which is interesting that they would give that option, because, I mean, it works so well with the gamepad and the touchscreen. I don't know why, but it's just another option, another controller option.
They're obsoleting the gamepad, don't you get it?
Yeah, you know, that's what he said. Is that possibly a gamepad-less SKU with the system transfer and stuff? I don't see it, because all the games that they're pushing the gamepad for, especially the Amiibos with the NFC reader built into the gamepad, that would just be stupid to release that. I don't see it, but you never know. I'm not going to say it.
I think it's a good idea to put the gamepad as not, like, absolutely, you know, important to have. Like, in the beginning, the Wii U was banking on the gamepad. It didn't work. It wasn't a big sell. Now they got to say to the fans, look, you can play with their plastic controllers, you can play with your your joysticks, and there's the gamepad. It's really cool. You can use it, but you don't have to. I think that's really important because the gamepad just didn't work in the beginning. It didn't get the audience that they wanted it to get.
I know, but it would be, I don't want them to pull Microsoft and release one without the gamepad and give up on it. Especially, like I said, the Amiibo characters,
Yeah.
they're not gonna release a non-gamepad SKU with the Amiibo characters coming out. That's gonna be their big money maker that works with the gamepad. I just don't see it, but
I mean, look at what I'm saying. Like, if I turn on my Wii U right now, I can turn it on with my Pro Controller. There's no need for me to put on the gamepad, right? If I can do it with that, that's fine. That's great. But then for the games that need the gamepad, then I can turn on the gamepad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't have.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just don't see them. I don't see them releasing one without it, though. Releasing a system without it, I think that would be.
Oh yeah, no, it should always come with it. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, that's what he was asking.
So the gamepad should, not be required for everything Wii U related. Just when games, can take advantage of it, that's when you know to use it.
Well, look at Smash. It uses the GameCube controller. Like, they're pushing the GameCube controller, so they're not worried about forcing the gamepad in every game, which I appreciate. Mario Walker just had an interesting comment about the console sale or the launch, the successful launches. He thought the Dreamcast was a successful launch because of all the great games it had. I can't say it was that successful because it didn't sell that well, but it did have some of the better games at launch of any system. Just thought that was worth pointing out. So I'll pick one more, and then we'll be done. There's somebody asked a question in Spanish. It won't let me translate it. So do either of you two know Spanish?
Not if you read it.
I'll put it up. It says, "Hola, te sigo desde España." So, whatever that means. Sorry, man. I took 2 years of Spanish, and that was 20 years ago. So, I'll just ask this one. This one I probably should save for the Smash discussion, but we can talk about this. Are you going to use the Wavebird controller when Smash comes out? So that's interesting because I have a perfectly good Wavebird controller just sitting here for years. Love that controller. It works great. I'm probably not going to buy the GameCube adapter for Smash. I'm feeling pretty good about the Pro Controller with the Wii U for comfort and stuff. So if I do buy that adapter, I would probably try the Wavebird. But I'm going to try Smash with the Wii U Pro Controller. It's a great controller. It's comfortable, and I think it'll be great for that game.
Why do you even use the Wavebird when the Pro Controller is, Wi-Fi?
I know. But, some people love their GameCube controllers and they don't want to give them up. So, Derek, I know you're still considering which controller option you're going to play the game with. If you have a GameCube controller, if I let you use my Wavebird, would you consider getting the adapter for it?
I have plenty of GameCube controllers.
I figured.
It kind of depends. If the shielding uses the analog bumpers, then I would definitely want to use the GameCube controller. Since the Pro Controller doesn't use that feature at all, I'm kind of in between. I have tiny little people hands, so tiny controller works good for me.
Yeah, so I mean, they're giving us all kind of the options. Pretty much any option is going to be available. So everyone's going to find a good way, and you got to consider there's a chance you're going to be playing off TV occasionally. I know you like to use that feature, so you'd probably be playing with the gamepad itself for some of it.
Fun for glory.
Yeah, for glory you'd want to have the best setup possible. But so yeah, that's thanks for the questions, guys. I didn't get to every single one, but we pushed past our hour long yet again, hour and 20 minutes. So we just can't seem to hit that 1 hour mark. But like you said, Mike had some excellent points. Glad to have you back. I think, is this your third one in a row that we've done?
I think so.
Yeah, so like Derek said, you made some great points, and your racing, you definitely stepped up with that sport bike. So look forward to this week's tournament, and hopefully I can do a little better, and hopefully you continue to do well.
Code?
Hmm?
I forgot the code.
Oh yeah, for anyone watching this now or on the replay, Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Here's the code for the Juices Loose tournament. This will be like the 7th or 8th week, I can't remember. So yeah, we had a good time. You know, not as much me last week, but Mike did. Mike did really well, and he enjoyed it. So, Grayson just came in and wants to know what the rules are. I'm gonna go all items, all vehicles. People, I think, got scared away by the bananas only, so we're gonna try all items, all vehicles for this week. So I'm sure that won't affect you because the bananas didn't affect them. So I'm sure Gray's gonna do just fine, whatever the rules are. So all right, so great, great talking with you guys. Any final thoughts or just a goodbye, Derek? Anything you want to say?
It's important to me that all viewers have themselves a safe night, and drink responsibly if that's what you want to do.
Hey, it's a work night. All right, Mike, anything you want to end with?
Always enjoy having conversations with good friends on Google Hangout. Love talking about Zelda. Love talking about Nintendo. I'll come back whenever you guys want me to. Thanks again. If you guys want to check out more of my stuff, check out my channel, NW Order for Life. And thanks. Have a great night. Be safe.
Yeah, I wanted to also throw out a plug to you. You did your Shovel Knight review, and you've done some manga reviews. So you guys, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, anime, it was anime, not manga. So you do some reviews. Definitely check them out if that's something you're into. I don't follow that stuff, so I can't watch a review of something that I don't watch. So
yeah,
otherwise,
I always ask if you want me to review an anime or a manga or a specific game. Want me to check anything out? Let me know, and I'll look into it. Like I can look at my shelf right now and pick out Wii games, PlayStation 3 games. And it's just this point. It's like, what should I review? What do you think people would be interested in? So give me a heads up.
All right, man. So yeah, I want to thank everyone who's watching, who's asked questions. Appreciate the interaction and your guys' participation. Derek, I want to thank you again. Glad that we started doing these together because I think it makes it a lot more entertaining, a lot more fun for me personally. And again, Mike, great job. So everyone out there watching this now, like I said, thanks for watching. If you're watching this on the replay on YouTube, feel free to leave comments. Answer some of the questions that were asked. And yeah, we'll see you guys next Monday for sure. And then Saturday night, again, Smash discussion. That's going to be July 26th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to get Francis from Player Essence is confirmed. Everyone else, I think Derek, you said you could be there. And well, I'm going to work out the other details. Some people wanted to do it, didn't get confirmation. So I'll be updating that in a couple of days. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that tournament again. Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 16 races, 1 hour, no CPU, and all items, all vehicles. So all right, guys, we'll see you on the next video, and that's all I got. See you later.
Safe travels.